I've been playing PGR for quite a while now, since global release 2021. So yes, I've been playing this gacha game for about 5 years. To be honest, I've been sort of on and off it in the last 2 years. The main factor, well, apart from feeling a little bit burnt out, but I end up losing interest in the story. As you could see, I haven't really been keeping up with it, and I just skipped this one because I really did not care about the character at all. I pretty much started to lose interest in the story all the way back. Wow, actually, back to this chapter right here, Spiral of Coronas. And the reason why I decided to fall out with it at chapter 21, because at this point, the punishing virus was something, an accident, a mistake created by humanity, ravaging the world, which humanity had to deal with. But this part is alluded to about other dimensions, higher being, and how the punishing is like a bit like a test, like a filtering of humanity to the next evolutionary stage, like it is divine providence. Because before this, some people considered the punishing virus, punishment for humanity's hubris, and others see it as an engineering scientific mistake that needs to be corrected. And so different people have different perceptions of the punishing virus. But here it definitely feels like the punishing virus is divine providence after all. And renewal. This is when I feel like a real major shift happened. Especially with chapter 22, the writing just felt certainly very different. And what I didn't like about chapter 22, they teased Selena. By this point, it's been years since Selena was last mentioned, back in the extra story after chapter 13, which chapter 13 was actually a big deal at the time. They teased her and did not release her, and only decided to reintroduce Selena all the way over here to chapter 34. Bloody hell. Anyway. And they pretty much teased her a bit in there. I felt like this was the perfect opportunity to bring back Selena, but I guess that wasn't what they wanted. Wintry Shackles. I feel like this one was a missed opportunity. It had both Lucias, Alpha, and your Lucia, Grey Raven. I felt that they could have done more with this, and how the new Lucia's frame got introduced. It's like, she just has it now. It felt like it sort of came out of nowhere. So yeah, that was wasted potential. Then things did start getting more interesting again after a little while. Then it was sort of here and there. I did keep up to it, especially chapter 31, but especially at this point. This is another huge change from chapter 31. This is when they added time travel. Bloody time travel. If you said to me back to 2021 that there would be time traveling in Punishing Grey Raven, I thought you'd be making stuff up. But this is literally what it is. And you just pretty much go back in time to the galaxies with Ring to Shine. You know, trying to solve things. And then, yeah, and this becomes the new reality, like especially with Echoes Adrift. I skipped most of it. I read for the more interesting parts. How we just sort of just went back in time. Crazy. But yes. I feel like they probably could have ended things with chapter 31. The bittersweet end. Humanity is saved for now, but things aren't great, but we're still lingering. But no, the story must continue. Yeah, I did not like the whole time traveling aspect of chapter 31. Oh boy, and I just, especially from that point, just, yeah. Even though I live Rosetta, my girls, yeah, it's just a struggle to pretty much go through the story now. I know some of the character designs I wasn't too happy with. Like with Liv Liberty, I felt like she doesn't really look like Liv. Like, if you compare her to Imperia in her final outfit, faces seemed a little bit different. Well, I guess it has a bit of similar face structure, but yeah, I guess it's mostly because of the eyes. Just makes her look different. I do not like the look of the new Vera. She somehow looks like fake Vera, like someone pretending to be Vera. With Lucia Pyroth, though, I feel like this skin should have been a second one. I feel like this one should have been Lucia's main skin. I feel like this one fits her personality more than this scandalous outfit. Nice wedding outfit. But anyway, this outfit does not scream Lucia to me. Especially when you compare her to her older outfits. Sure, there's skin in this one, but it feels like it tends to be a bit more Lucia, especially with Plume. I feel like this definitely fits her more. Like, Live Liberty. This is no way a combat outfit. This is definitely an outfit that's mostly for show. I would definitely excuse it for someone like Ishmael. A completely different being. No, perfect excuse. I know. I feel like some of the outfits sort of just doesn't make sense or fit their personality. Even though the other Lucia has worn a similar outfit. And again, I sort of dismiss this simply because she's out and about. Not part of any affiliation. Just sort of doing what she believes in what is right. Anyway, it's a bit weird to have a double bra. It just looks odd. Another thing I didn't quite like, I don't quite remember which chapter was it? Was it Stars and Snared? Was it Source Beacon? Anyway, definitely in Infinite Loop. This is when they introduce Dominic and MacGuffin. This Dominic has all the knowledge, all the solutions that help out humanity to deal with the punishing. And it has been done through different cycles because he's been through different time loops and dimensions. This is when crap hits the fan and just I don't really like mystical MacGuffins that much, because it definitely felt like it came out of nowhere. There was no mention of a Dominic beforehand. I guess you could say there's some alluding to in Renewal, but in Infinite Loop, nah. I feel like they just shoved in Dominic to pretty much explain the direction where they want to take the story. And it also feels like it takes away from the efforts of the characters. Because the whole time, it's about humanity trying to find ways to defeat the punishing virus, using what they have, the resources, and working together to get this done. And yet there is this mystical scientist from the golden age that can help out and has all the answers to everything. And it just sort of feels like all this effort and build up is just like kind of wasted. When with the whole time travel nonsense, going into the new time, pilgrimage, it feels like everything we've done, everything that you worked in all the past, well, 33 chapters, I guess, was kind of pointless. Especially when it feels like you just popped into a new timeline, a new reality. Sure, it's the better reality for humanity that can keep on surviving and struggling. But it all felt like everything you'd done could be easily just rewritten if you go back further back in time. This is probably why I felt cheated out with the whole time traveling shenanigans. Of course, in any gacha game, there's always gonna be power creep. Especially early on. With bosses, I feel like I had to think. Since characters were less stronger, you actually have to dodge, you have to strike when you can. Especially with the earlier bosses. But over time, I started to stop thinking in battles. I would say that... When did I stop thinking about it? I guess around Voodoo and Lamia. That's when I started thinking boss battles. Identify twins you definitely have to think, but with unknown data cluster I did not think. Hamlet is sort of a fun boss. Feels like more of a gimmick than anything. But afterwards I sort of just... yeah, I did not think about these fights. Because of power creep, you sort of just... the constructs are strong enough, you can just ignore any of the special moves that these bosses have. But there are some unique things, like Studio on Winged. There is some little challenges which you could do to make the fight interesting. Sack the Frost Heart Emperor. Boring. I did not think that one. Same with Margaret. I really did not know what's going on in that fight. That's no thinking, no thinking. Malonia, I didn't really think with the fight with the higher tier constructs, but she did have some interesting mechanics, like with the webs. It seems a little bit interesting. And I guess Enora has some unique moves, but she's not that interesting. Vonnegut special does have to keep you on your toes. And Yuka Satomi, her fight's actually pretty interesting. How you actually play pretty much like a version of her with her movesets, and you have to time it to not get hit by her, but also use her moves to weaken her. So the newer bosses, they're like a mixed bag. Chico, this one is certainly felt like I was fighting against a Nier Automata boss battle, to be fair. But Overseer, nah. So yes, the bosses have been not really keeping up too well with the power creep, which I guess it's inevitable. But there are some unique challenges, especially with Suda Unwinged, that does give battles a bit more interest. In the beginning, when I first played Punishing Raven 2021, it was definitely felt like it was the Dark Souls version of gacha gaming. But over time, it's become less of a challenge, or you need to think less when it comes to fights, especially with the newer moves with constructs. But in saying that, there has been a pivot. I do feel like I think more with Rosetta Artie with her moveset, and she doesn't feel broken. Live Liberty definitely feels broken. Same with Lucia Pyroff. Oh, and don't get me started on the Nihilist. Nihiliter constructs. Well, they're just, yeah, they're the most powerful constructs in the game. You do not have to think at all with these ones. You just click buttons and you win. So, there has been a little shift of you doing build up with moves and you have to think more. Which adds, yeah, definitely a bit of a challenge. I feel like bosses should have more, well, any future bosses have more unique gimmicks. But yes, the game really does not feel like it is challenging as it was at the beginning, even with some of the older constructs at higher levels and upgrades. Well, here comes my next grievance. The Commandant. Of course, they released the Babylonian world, where you can go around and explore Babylonia, which does seem pretty cool. But my real main grievance is with this version is the Commandant. What I liked about PGR, how you, the Commandant, is always from your perspective, your view, your POV. Sure, there was, over time, I don't mind like the hints of the background art of the Commandant at the podium, you in your combat outfit, all seems pretty nice. But what I don't like with the Babylonian mode, is they keep forcing you into the third person view with all these outfits. This is not my Commandant. This is my Commandant from your own POV. And it feels like it sort of takes it away from the experience that it's from your perspective, that you are the Commandant leading your squad, Grave Raven. I do not like it, how it takes you out of that experience. I've been playing this game for years, so I'm pretty used to just viewing things from my own POV, not from a third person perspective. Anyway, and this Babylonia mode definitely feels like it's something based off Wawa, Wuthering Waves. Then again, I have not played Wuthering Waves since the Jiangxi chapter. I pretty much lost interest in Wuthering Waves when they added in a mascot character, because I'm not that fond with mascot, little chibi-like mascot characters. Sure, there are some animes I don't mind them at all, like Polyodokia Madoka Magical Girl and Gushing Over Magical Girls. I don't mind in those ones, where they actually tied in with the story, but I guess it is tied in the story of Wuthering Waves, but it just feels like, just shove it in there for something to be marketable, or something, have something cute that flies around you, which I find incredibly annoying. So yes, this is just a one big rant of someone that that's pretty much got bored with punishing Ray Raven with its story. I mean, I still like this game. I mean, even though I don't no longer play it every day, I do play it weekly. And I still have fine things I still enjoy on it. The story, man, You lost me so long ago now. Oh, time travel nonsense, punching birds being a higher power, dimensions, other realities. It all feels so exhausting. But anyway, I'll definitely be somewhat playing this game to the end, and I liked the, well, I guess the older lore of punishing Grey Ravens, so I'm definitely going to be making videos about it when I can. I'm never good at consistency in that department. But anyway, thank you for watching this tangent, and I'll be seeing you all in the future. Take care.